Welcome to KIRSTIcast, the show where we hope to illuminate, entertain, and engage our listeners, helping them create the life they want. I'm your host, Kirsti Manna. Hi, I'm Kirsti Manna, and welcome to KIRSTIcast. Thanks so much for being here. I was completely mesmerized by the movie Mary Poppins. I think I saw it when I was about 8 years old, which really dates me, of course. But anyway, I think it's one of the best mentoring movies of all time. It wasn't until later in life that I realized what a great mentor she was and why. I've had a lot of great mentors in my life and career, and it inspired me to become one to fellow female songwriters who were trying to figure out how it all works in the crazy music business. That's why I started my company, Songwriter Girl, and hosted Songwriter Girl camps here in Nashville for some years and also across the U.S. and in Europe. I really wanted to help build confidence in girls and women, and not just about songwriting, but about life in general. Are you a good mentor? You may be a mentor and not even know it. Listening is one of the best qualities you can possess as a mentor. Mentors can also be reassuring and help build confidence. A mentor passes down what they know, what they've experienced, and how they understand what it is to have fear or get stressed out about their chosen path. Mentors have wisdom, and they're practical in making really good decisions because, you know what, they've already made the mistakes, and they've learned from them. If you want to be a mentor, you can start by being a positive role model. Your words and your actions can really inspire somebody a lot. It's also important to let the mentee know that they get to use their own creative common sense to solve problems, and you can help them with these skills. Probably one of my favorite quotes from one of my favorite movie mentors is Yoda. Try not, do, or do not. There is no try. Great advice from a Jedi. Stick around for the Shero Spotlight. Stay tuned for the Shero Spotlight. Welcome back, everyone, to the Shero Spotlight, and I'm really excited today to have a new friend join us for the interview. I met her when I spoke at one of her events here in Nashville, and she's going to be telling us about what she's doing with that company. It's really exciting. It's really helping a lot of young artists, which I love, love, love that. So let me tell you a little bit about her. She's a multifaceted songwriter, performer, mentor, and artist manager. Wow. That's a lot of stuff. I get it, though. I love busy women. I love the mayhem, yes. Co-founder of New Roots, which provides female artists with an introduction to the Nashville music scene and a safe, supportive, and collaborative community in which they can launch their music careers more confidently. And I love that because girls really need that. She is also a private mentor to artists through one-on-one coaching, and she manages a rock country artist named Jenny Teeter, who you should check out. She's really cool, and actually one of my co-writers has written with her somewhat. Her most recent performances include a national tour as part of the Nashville Trio, an opening spot for an ACM, CMA award-winning artist, and performing at venues all around Nashville. She's logged 100-plus hours in the studio with Grammy-winning producer Matt Lee, creating her self-titled EP plus 2 additional singles, and has multiple collaborations with artists from background vocals to songwriting. She also serves on the board of Women in Music in Nashville as the co-chair of events. Wow. What else could she do? Please welcome to the show, Sheridan Gates. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much, Kirsti. This is such a pleasure to be here.
Oh, thank you. I know you just finished. You just tell us you just wrapped New Roots, you said, today.
I did. We have 3 of these events that we do every year, and we just wrapped today, this morning. We had 6 artists, female artists from all around the country, come to Nashville Thursday, and all day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we kind of give them a soft place to land and introduce them to the people in our network that are really trusted, that we value, so that they can have a safe place to start their career and build their network. So it was an action-packed couple of days.
I get it. Well, I've done events before, and I know just the feeling of that when you finish the event. It's like having done it, it's successful. Everybody's learned some stuff. They're on their way back home. And so tell everybody how you guys got inspired to start New Roots and why you called it New Roots and all those good things.
Yeah, it started like a lot of businesses out of the pandemic, actually, because when everything kind of stopped, we had this moment to breathe and to really think and reflect on what's next and what else can we do as creatives, as artists, that is outside of touring, and ways that we can make a living and make an impact. So my dear friend Mark Tress, who is my co-founder, he and I have known each other for years, and he was teaching at the time at Belmont University, and I wanted to kind of give teachers a break that were overworked during the pandemic. And so I offered to go in and speak to his class a little bit, and that reconnected Mark and I, and kind of we had a similar mission for mentoring younger artists and kind of helping them navigate what can be a pretty overwhelming industry, as we know. And so it's funny, he came over to co-write, and instead of writing a song, we wrote a business plan and had New Roots just completely planned out within 4 hours.
Really inspired.
Yeah, just we wanted to create something that we wish we had when we were new to town. And the name New Roots took a little bit of time actually to come up with. We went through a laundry list of names, but at the end of the day, we wanted the roots to represent really planting a seed in Nashville, and kind of building your roots here in not only this city but in this industry for artists. So that's where New Roots was kind of inspired from. But ultimately it was just stemmed from what we wish we had, and wanting to give these artists a safe place to not only learn and network, but to start to grow their community. As women, we need all the help that we can get in this industry, and the more the more we come together and support each other, the more change we can make. So that's ultimately why we created New Roots.
Well, and isn't it something, when I was hosting Songwriter Girl events, I had so many people say that very thing to me. Oh my gosh, I wish this would have been in place. This kind of thing would have been in place when I was, when I was growing up. And I think back, and I wonder why somebody never actually did events like the ones that we have done and the ones that you're carrying on with. It seems kind of elementary in the sense that, hey, maybe we should help these people.
Right. And I've gotten the same response too from, we've had some wonderful industry pros come and talk to our artists, and everybody I talk to says, wait, this doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Wait, why doesn't this exist yet?
Right.
And it's just simple in that it's education and community at the end of the day. And we just decided to make it female focused, to make a little bit more of an impact in that side of the industry. But why doesn't it exist? I don't know. But now it does.
That was my thing with Songwriter Girl, is that I always wanted to have a place for girls to just be there with girls, and kind of a safe place, because what I found out was that there were girls coming there, and many of them had never co-written. They were kind of like on an island, And at the time I was really doing it, Taylor Swift was all the rage, and so a lot of girls were trying to figure out how they could be, like Taylor Swift. And of course, a lot of people, they don't have the money that they can put behind their career. They're not living in a place where there's really an outlet, even a place to perform. So what are some of the things you guys talk to your participants about in regards to going back home? It's kind of like, you go to church. You go to church and everything's exciting, you're all passionate, and then you leave and it's like, okay, you got to keep doing that when you go home,
Totally. And actually, because we said goodbye to the girls this morning, that was one of the things I said. It's like, let's keep this momentum going.
Right.
And, one of the things that we preach, for the church reference, to these women is to really lean on each other and continue to build these relationships, because ultimately it's a business of relationships, and kind of some of it is, most of it's who you know too. And it's just continue to reach out to people. And when you're it doesn't matter if you're in Utah or Montana or Florida, the beauty of the pandemic is we all got really comfortable with Zoom and virtual events. And so there's really no excuse to not keep in touch and keep supporting even if from afar. And we're also trying to do a lot more virtual events too, and, bring on and do little virtual workshops and things to keep those girls engaged. But ultimately, if they want to come back to Nashville, they can plan a whole trip around our New Roots events, and we want to keep them coming back. But
I like that you give them the opportunity to come back if they want to come back and perform on one of the nights that you're hosting, the current event that
They're
promoting.
Always welcome. It's like a big family.
Yeah.
It's truly, like we call them a family, because that's what we are. And so if they need to crash on our couch, or if they need, just us to look over,
or if you need them to feed your dog. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, sometimes, if they want to, exactly. It's bigger than just this weekend. This is the starting point, and then we really do encourage the girls to follow up with all the people they met. Continue to build those relationships. So
well, it's really interesting how impacting those kind of events can be for people. I was at a show at the Listening Room a couple weeks ago, and was talking with one of my co-writers, and this young lady came up and she said, "I don't know if you remember me, but I came to your songwriter girl camp, and was telling me, how she enjoyed it." And so that always makes you feel good, that if like one person gets something out of what you offered them, it's really rewarding.
It's so rewarding. And in fact, last night the girls played a writer's round, and we have some alumni. We call them alumni of the girls that have gone through this program in the past. We always invite a few to come back and play alongside the new artists. And it creates such an amazing sense of community. But one of them said to me, actually unprovoked, she said in front of the group of all the new artists, she said, "I owe all of my network and people that I've met can be traced back to my time at New Roots." And it made my heart just sing. I was so excited to hear that, because that means we're making a small difference.
Well, it means that, your passion and what you guys want to do with that company and the organization is really working,
Yeah, and we really want these girls to understand that they can create their own path, and that there is a lane for them in the music industry. Obviously, like you were saying, some girls come and they want the Taylor Swift career, and they have a little bit of rose-colored glasses. And that's okay. But, we're not here to shatter any dreams or anything, but we're here to really encourage these artists to dig inside of themselves and figure out what they want to say and what they want their legacy to be. I credit Mark Tress, my co-founder, with that. He's big about what legacy do you want to leave behind. And life's too short to just do what everybody else is doing.
It's so true.
You have to pave your own path, and we want to be there to encourage and sort of pull that out of them. So sometimes it gets deep, and there's tears, and people are really digging inside of them, and coming to terms with some of the things that they've maybe been suppressing, because that's where the best art is created, when you can really let yourself go there.
And you've been in musical productions or whatever, and I have too, so we know what it is to dig deep for a role or a part or a character, that kind of thing. And a lot of times, I think songwriting really can help a young girl to really figure things out. It's really a great form of expression, to get out their feelings when they're maybe too shy to say it with their mouth.
Absolutely. You should have heard some of these girls in the studio yesterday. They had us all in tears. I mean, the songs were so honest and so raw, and you just know, it's like you get a visceral feeling when you hear a song. It's like that's written from their truth. They're storytellers at the end of the day.
Exactly.
So you are an amazing songwriter. So
thank you.
You get that better than anybody else.
Well, thank you. That's kind. So tell me a little bit about your work with Jenny Teeter and how you started working with Jenny. You just were really into her, or you were friends, or how'd you meet?
We're actually, Matt Lay, who's the producer that I've worked with, who also works with...
Oh, I called him Lee.
Oh, it's okay. It's spelled like Lee.
Sorry, Matt.
No, he's used to that. I say it's like Slay without the S.
Okay.
Anyway, I met him years ago when I was interning in town. Fast forward 10 years, probably 5 years later, he and I were working together when I first moved to town at the Tracking Room. And he is from Missouri. And so this other Missouri artist came to town named Jenny Teeter, and they had a mutual friend connect them. And he said, you should meet Sheridan. She just moved to town. I think you guys would get along. And we had a coffee meetup and became fast friends.
Nice.
2 hours later, we started writing together, and she was my community. She became that outlet, that resource that I could just lean on, and we could ask questions, we could express our frustrations, we could collaborate and inspire each other. And so, Jenny and I have been best friends for the last 6 years.
That's great.
And we ultimately started touring together, doing house concert tours around the country, because I'll never forget this day. We were sitting at a diner one morning, I'll never forget it. And we were probably, I don't know, a year into our time in Nashville, and, had been writing and just having a little bit of trouble trying to figure out where to go next.
Okay.
And so we were sitting there and we said, how can we make our own fate? And what can we do, just on our own to go out and meet fans and get gigs, around the country. And so we decided to do a house concert tour. And, it starts with your inner circle. We started with family and friends and friends of friends. And before we knew it, we had a 2-week tour of the whole East Coast with house concerts to do.
Oh my
with
gosh.
our acoustic guitars. And, it ended up being so inspiring and so much fun that it has just grown from there. And we brought on Meg Williams to be we made it a trio.
Is that the Nashville Trio?
Yep.
Oh,
yep.
cute. I love it.
We call ourselves that because Nashville is just, it hits well around the country.
Yes.
It's recognizable for people. And we do a writer's round in people's homes. And
nice.
that was just such a great way to not only see the country, but to sort of introduction to touring and just playing, working on some new songs and seeing the feedback from people and finding some super fans along the way, because it's such an intimate setting.
Yeah.
So this was a roundabout way of your question about how do I know Jenny, and that's been our journey. And during the pandemic, we kind of joked about, well, I should manage you, and we've talked, because I just have done a lot of networking and developing new roots. I just have been blessed to get connected with a lot of wonderful people, and it just, in the back of my mind, I'm always thinking oh, Jenny would be great with this person or that person, and so it just kind of organically happened that I started managing her officially this year, and it's been such a blessing, and I've really loved it, and there's nothing better than working with your best friend every day. So,
right. Oh, that's cool.
A totally new hat that I put on, and I'm thrilled by it, and just I love championing.
It's hard to say.
Championing other artists.
Yeah.
There's just that feeling when a friend is in the spotlight and having a success, no matter how big or small, it fills me with so much joy. And so watching her do that, and if I can play a small part in helping her get to the next level, then I'll have done my job, and it's very satisfying.
I think it's kind of like, with a friend, like you were friends with them back in high school or something, and they got something going on, and you're the first row of the play or whatever it is,
Yeah.
It's really fun.
It's wonderful, and
especially if you really believe in their singing or their writing or whatever that is.
Of course, that helps.
Good.
That helps.
That's good.
Yeah, so Jenny is she's playing a bunch of shows coming up, and I work. What I love about it is that we're learning as we go together, and that's part of why I think it works so well, because it's not, one person knows all and the other's trying to catch up. We're both kind of growing together, and that circles back to why we created New Roots in the first place, is to just find your people that you can just, as your friend elevates, you do too, and you just kind of grow together, if you will. So,
that's good.
Yeah.
So all these different things that you've done, you're a performer, a writer, you're managing, you're a mentor. What do you feel like is one of the things that you recognize with some of your different clients or people that you work with that some of these artists really, really need? What is something that female artists you think really need? Is there something you could say overall that you notice?
Community. I know it seems simple, but these women need this support system behind them. I think the biggest issue maybe isn't the right word, but challenge with females artists in particular is that they just get overwhelmed. There's a little bit of paralysis by analysis, if you will.
That is great. I love that one. Paralysis by analysis.
And I think
that is so true.
It's right. And I'm totally
we do it till we're dead, I think.
I know. And so we need people there to kind of nudge us along and encourage us.
Yeah.
Also, just
why are girls like that?
I think because our minds just can do so much, and we have so much stimulation coming in from social media and all media in general, that it just gets like, whoa, where do I begin?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, and also the comparison game that a lot of women play on social media. They just become so scared. There was so fear. The word fear was thrown around so much this weekend, and it breaks my heart. But by the end of it, they had totally stepped out of their shell and were just felt empowered and encouraged that, oh, I actually can do this. I don't have to be terrified, of every little step. And I truly think that's because of the community they created, that they felt like they could just, oh, they're supporting me. So I think it feels safe enough for me to take this step because I've got these people behind me to kind of nudge me along.
and the thing is too, it's like when somebody's out, those of you listening that are out there in some small town or some in a big city, and you feel very alone, you really have to somehow find a way to get outside of yourself to go and find other people that are kind of doing the same thing as you, because it's like it becomes like a therapy group. You know what I mean?
Yes. And they're seeing on social media that might seem intimidating is just, remember, it's just social media.
Yeah.
It's just the surface.
Exactly. And it's happening for like as long as it takes you to slide your phone. You know?
Right. And so if you actually just take that one little scary step to reach out to somebody and say, hey, could we grab coffee? I think you'll realize that we all really are going through the same thing.
Yes.
We all have the same fears and, the same challenges, the same hurdles.
The same reservations, of approaching somebody we don't know.
Exactly.
So I always ask my guests this. Tell me a stay inspired story. It could be something that has inspired you in your life or career, or,
I love that question. And really, I was thinking about this a lot today, and it takes me back to 10 years ago. Does it have to be something new, or can I?
It can only be back 9.5 years. No, I'm kidding. It can be 10 years.
Okay. Whew.
You're off the hook.
Okay. Yeah. So 10 years ago, I had an internship in Nashville, and that was my first introduction to Nashville, because I'm from New Jersey originally, and Nashville wasn't maybe as trendy as it is today. And so I didn't know much about it, but through a family connection, friend of a friend, I ended up working at Stormy Warren's show on GAC.
Oh.
It was called Headline Country. It was like country music news television. And I didn't really know much about it, but I knew I was intrigued by Nashville, and I love country music.
Right.
And I just, as a singer, I wanted to just immerse myself in it. And so I came down for the summer and was just the little intern taking notes on every production, shoot that we did. I was the one just taking notes, pretty much behind the scenes. And there was one day where they said the Rascal Flatts have a #1 party for their song Banjo. They're doing a press conference, so we're just going to send Sheridan and a cameraman to just take notes on what happens. There won't be any interviews or anything. And I said, okay, that's fine. I can handle that. This is like the end of my 3-month internship, so I was feeling a little more comfortable.
Yeah.
And we get there, and there's not as many press that show up. And so their publicist comes up and says, hey, we're going to give everybody one-on-ones.
Oh.
So you can have your own private interview with the Rascal Flatts. My face must have gone completely white. I was absolutely petrified because lesson #1, I should have done my homework and prepared questions just in case, which, now I know.
Yeah.
But I had not. And so I, as this young little girl, I didn't know what the heck to ask them. And they were literally about to walk up to me for an interview. And
Oh my God. Like in slow-mo. They're coming.
And I think this is where this all becomes my inspired story. Their publicist saw the blood drop come out of my face. And she came up to me and she said, don't worry about it. Ask him this, this, and this, and you'll be fine.
Oh,
and I said, thank you so much. And we did the interview, and it was quick, and the guys could not have been nicer. They were so gracious. They could tell that I was kind of new at it. But from that, I'll never forget that story because it solidified and inspired me so much. It solidified my reason of wanting to move to Nashville. It inspired the sense of community, that I was going to be okay, that there are people that are going to look out for you.
Right.
And it was sort of that was the first kind of not hand holding, but a hand offering, I guess.
Yeah, the olive branch from the other side.
The olive branch,
yeah.
exactly. That Nashville is a safe place, and there are good people here that are willing to help out a youngin', like me at the time. And that's kind of how I've lived my career ever since, is if I can give anything back to somebody, I will. Yeah. And I know it was such a small moment, but it was so impactful at that time in my life. So
well, every little thing. Somebody gave me advice a long time ago about your career in the music business. They said every little thing is a big thing, and it's true.
It's absolutely true, and you don't know what's going to land with somebody.
Right,
I mean, that publicist wouldn't know me from Adam, but it was such an impactful moment for me, and inspired me to ultimately make the move here. Yeah. A couple years later after I finished college. So.
I love that. Thanks for sharing that. That's a good one. I can see the whole thing playing out. I love that. It's like a little video. So now, tell me, what is your power word? Because you probably got a few, I suspect.
I do have a few, but ultimately my power word is fierce.
All right.
It's fierce because it's a little sassy, it's a little fiery, and it just, I try to live my life going after what I want and have that fierceness behind it.
That's so great. I love that.
To pave the way for others.
All right.
Yeah.
That's good.
Do you have a power word? What's your power word?
They change constantly with me. But, let's see. Today, one of my big power words, of course, is confidence, but spontaneity is a big one for me.
Ooh, I love that.
I think it's important to be, just what you were talking about, it's important to be spontaneous, that it's important to be, ready to go for anything. And and that has to do with losing fear of things, what we were just talking about a minute ago. So, but I have a lot of power words. They change for me. They really do. But thanks for asking. Nobody's ever asked me mine.
Really?
No, I'm kidding.
Well, I want to know all about you. Let's switch. Now I'm going to interview Kirsti now. Here we go. No.
Yeah, that's what we should do. You come back and you can interview me. That'd be good.
Okay, let's do it.
I like that. I love talking to people.
We could talk for hours.
We could. I could feel it. So tell me, what is something today that you're grateful for?
I love that question. And in fact, I just spoke to my Instagram, my phone, talking about this right before I came in here. I am so full of gratitude for the artists that decided to invest in themselves and show up in more ways than one. This past weekend, I'm just so grateful that they decided to put their faith in myself and Mark and the people that we introduced them to, and that I don't take that responsibility lightly. So I'm really grateful for them.
That's wonderful. Yeah. Well, I have to say, our time is up, and it's been my face is just like hurting because I've been smiling so much talking to you. You have a really great spirit, and I know you're going to have a lot of success with New Roots because
Thank you.
It's coming from a real heart place, and that's what it has to be.
It is. Thank you, and it's inspired by you and what you've done with Songwriter Girl. So
well, thank you so
back
much.
At you.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm so glad that we had Sheridan today on the show here at the Shero Spotlight. Everybody stick around. We're going to be right back.
You're my Shero, more than a hero, and I look up to you every single day. Every day, my celebration, my inspiration is to be like you, but in my own way. You're my Shero, more than a hero.
I've spent years of self-discovery learning how to live a successful creative life. That's why I created my course, Spark Your Creativity, the Steps to a Successful Creative Journey, to help others discover their own potential. Your creative journey never ends. So why not invest in yourself and sign up for my course today at Kirsti.com. See you on the journey. Hey everybody, welcome back. I want to thank you so much for stopping in today at KIRSTIcast. I want to thank my very special and joyous guest, Sheridan Gates. Hope you're going to check out everything she's doing. I want to thank Lance Goodman, Wynn Adams, and Bill Warner for being behind the scenes here on this podcast. If you or somebody you know would like to be a guest on KIRSTIcast, you can email me at info@songwritergirl.com. And don't forget to check out my website, Kirsti.com, and see what I'm doing there. Hope you're going to stop back and see me next time. And whatever you do, stay inspired. You've been listening to KIRSTIcast.